Unlock the power of your mind. This is Provocative Enlightenment with Eldon Taylor.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today. The next hour is devoted to learning something more, not just about the world of shoes and ships and sealing wax, but about how, what, and why we believe as we do. A time for those willing to question what they think they know or what they may believe, those willing to be uncertain for an hour. I'm Eldon Taylor, and this is Provocative Enlightenment. All right, our chat room is open. Ravinder and Andrea await you there now. You can log on by going to provocativeenlightenment.com/chat. We do have a great chat room, and I know you love to brag about it, Ravinder, so tell us all about it.
We do have a good chat room because it's a good group of people, you know. I mean, I'm actually pretty selfish about it. I'll admit to that. I'm always learning from everyone in the chat room. So I enjoy people coming in because I learn from them. I get different perspectives from them. We have a laugh on the air in the chat room too while stuff's going on in the air. So yes, if you can join us, do come in. That is provocativeenlightenment.com/chat.
All right, in this week's Spotlight, I'd like to discuss cultural relativism, something I think of as very close to, if not synonymous, with moral agnosticism. For I believe that fundamentally there are certain human rights that should exist everywhere in the world, regardless of so-called customs. Further, I am convinced that when we allow or justify the deprivation of these rights, by precedent we rob ourselves of the integrity that all life deserves. Indeed, by allowing human atrocities, we invite them upon ourselves, if by nothing other than our tacit consent. There are many today who insist that there is no evil in the world, that evil is an illusion. Some go so far as to argue that deals were made before this incarnate life, whereby certain spirits agreed to come into the world and carry out cruel deeds for the sake of teaching us something. Others demand that right be defined by custom and culture. So to them, killings and mutilations are just, well, if honorable within the culture, they're honorable. We live at a time when horrendous events are often shown in full color on television or on the internet. We hear about brutal beheadings, child abuse, torture, and more, all carried out on the innocent nearly every day. In my opinion, it's extremely hard to imagine anyone concluding that these acts are in any way deserving of any reaction short of contempt and disgust. Indeed, quoting from The Rational Life in an Irrational Society, nothing can corrupt or disintegrate a culture or a man's character as thoroughly as does the precept of moral agnosticism. The idea that one must never pass moral judgment on others, that one must be morally tolerant of anything, that the good consists of never distinguishing good from evil. Now I accept the admonishment, judge not lest ye be judged. This, however, does not prevent me from discerning good from evil, nor for that matter from condemning acts of a barbaric nature. In fact, quite honestly, in the end, whatever or wherever that might be, when I take my last breath, I want to think that I defended the helpless, the abused, the innocent, and stood for something more than moral agnosticism. How about you? Your thoughts on this one, Ravinder?
You know, it's an important issue in these days when there's political correctness and you're supposed to be open to everything, which we want to be. You know, you want to be open to different ideas and different viewpoints. But there is something, I think, that is within us that does tell us that something is right and something is wrong. And just because an entire culture believes, just because an entire culture does something and they've been doing it all the time, doesn't make it right. So there are times that you have to speak up.
Well, you know, right now, you think about our society, and you and I have had this conversation. You go back to behavior of men in the 50s and the 60s, And very often there was inappropriate behavior in your work environment, in a lounge or a bar. Men were, they just behaved in very bad ways. And then we fast forward and we see what's coming out of Congress today, with all the women that are coming forward, and this isn't a new problem. It's an old problem. It was just ignored back in the 50s and 60s. So it's possible for any culture, including our own culture, to be carrying on in ways that are unacceptable, but become just normative, if you will. Just, that's what people do. And I think we need to be alert and aware of that, because, what's improper today was just as improper in the 50s and the 60s.
You're absolutely right. That reminds me, when we were watching Mad Men on TV, that's back then in the 60s, and the guys ruled, and there was lots of sexual misbehavior going on, just stuff that was inappropriate. But it wasn't only the guys that were doing it. To play the game, you could have females, not doing the same thing, but condoning it. It was just part of what was normal. So, they weren't speaking up the way that they should. And I think that is an excellent example of how we need to pay attention to everything that we do today. Because if we can make those mistakes back then, and most of us did, the TV was full of it back then. I watched some of the comedies from the 70s today, and
like
I couldn't be shocked.
Three's
Company, and I'm shocked at how it's like that is just wrong. You don't treat women that way. But it was so normal back then that something as, a sitcom like Three's Company, that was considered normal. So it has alerted me to paying attention more today about all of the other things that we do. That we consider normal, we consider acceptable, we think you have to, it's okay, brush it under the carpet, it doesn't matter. But it does matter, and you have to speak up when you see it. And the more people speak up, then the more people will dare to speak up, and then we'll have this big uncovering, as is going on right now with
Washington. Well,
yeah.
And everywhere, Hollywood and
everywhere.
Elsewhere. I've often thought normal is what? Average. And what's the definition of average? Worst of the best and best of the worst.
Absolutely.
Okay. We do all need to be alert. All right. Every week I read some of your letters as our way of involving you while paying respect to the very important role you play in making this show successful. Last week our show featured Professor Amy Jill Levine, and we discussed the meaning of Christmas. Loretta wrote, "Wow, I never knew about all those myths you discussed with Professor Levine. Thanks for such an informative show." John wrote, "I really loved your guest's last thoughts on the spirit of Christmas. This was a really great show." Beth wrote, "Celebrating hope and light in the middle of the darkness. I like that." CB commented, "Another zoomy interview. So much info. Phew." Moving on, Philippe wrote, "I think that InnerTalk is one of the greatest achievements and a true breakthrough in the science of mind knowledge and awareness of consciousness for the improvement of humankind." Thank you, Philippe. Kelly wrote, "I love your products. I will be a devoted customer for years to come." And Armando wrote, "I love your InnerTalk programs. I've used them for many years, and yours are the only ones that I get satisfaction from." Okay, that's all the time we're going to take for letters today, but we do love your comments, so please keep them coming. You can opine by writing to me at Eldon, that's ELDON, at eldontaylor.com, or by joining me on Facebook at Dr. Eldon Taylor. We do sincerely appreciate your thoughts and ideas. Now to today's show, a fun show, for Momma Clause is in the house. One of our favorite shows is our Momma Clause event. So for everyone listening, this is how it works. It's a free day for you. Ravinder plays Momma Clause and will take your calls. Now, if you have some issue that you're working on, or a friend or a member of your family who is dealing with an issue, pick up your phone and give us a call. Tell us what the issue is, and we'll do our best to help you with it, including provide you with a free InnerTalk program or programs to facilitate a path to completing or achieving your goal. So if you have a child or a grandchild who is struggling in school, give us a call. If weight loss or smoking cessation is troubling you, give us a call. If relationships or health or prosperity or habits and addictions, motivation and enthusiasm, sports and fitness, parenting and better life, etc. are on your mind and a part of what you desire to take on, give us a call. This show is for you, and our intent is to do our best to provide you with both some guidelines and tools to assist you in your success. So pick up your phone now and call 425-373-5527. Again, that number is 425-373-5527. Now, if you're in the Seattle area, obviously you may not need that area code. So again, the number is area code 425-373-5527. If you mailed in an advance request, we'll take those between calls and or email you a reply following the show. That said, let's take our first email letter to begin with. Elizabeth wrote, I am having problems with my grandson who lives with me. He is always angry, hates school, locks himself in his room when he gets home, is sullen at the dinner table, and has nothing good to say about anyone or anything. Please help. All right, Ravinder, where are you going to start helping Elizabeth?
You know, I think things are tough for kids these days. Perhaps they always have been. But going through the school system is difficult when you're, you're at home, first of all, you have your parents with you, everything is safe and secure, and then suddenly you're in this strange environment and there's lots of strangers telling you what to do, and you have the push and pull of the kids, trying to find their pecking order, so that can be difficult. Did she say how old the child was?
No, she didn't.
I got the idea that it was kind of a younger child.
I would think so too.
So I would be going along the directions of building up a child's esteem. I mean, kids often act up when they're feeling insecure. They're not sure quite what's going on. So I would have said just our successful children, or the I can building a child's esteem. I think that would be the best there, because they have to feel good within themselves. If they're feeling insecure, if they're feeling less than everyone else out there, then we often hear, it's a pretty common kind of issue. We often hear about kids acting up.
And successful children goes right at the problem that many children have in trying to relate to peers and deal with fears of rejection and do well in school, and anger is a nasty getting even response to fear. So I think you're right. You're going to send her both programs.
I will. Successful children and I can building a child's esteem will be coming right out. We have the email address, so I will get that email out after the show, and your child can start working with it tonight.
So you're going to send them an MP3,
a download,
MP3 of both of them, a download MP3. Okay.
They can download it and get to work on it right away.
Just before we go to the phones, your MP3s, when they go out, there's a nuance to that everybody should know about. You include with the MP3 a complete set of affirmations, instructions, etc. So you've got a PDF file that is in that same zipped file.
We have to zip the file because it has to be one single item that we send out. But yes, we definitely believe that you ought to choose, you ought to decide if the affirmations are something that you want. So we publish the complete list of affirmations. They go out at the same time. Now, if you're downloading to a computer, you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. Click on the link, it will download, double click it, and it will unzip for you. Then you have the PDF file and the MP3 file, and you can move that MP3 file to whatever your preferred devices are. If you want to download directly to a smartphone or a tablet, you will need a download manager app for that, because those devices don't quite understand zipped files. So if you try to download without using a download manager app, our site will see that you've downloaded it, and you can only download each one twice. But your device doesn't know what to do with it, so it kind of falls off the table. But if you get a download manager app, then once again that can all happen automatically, and you can find instructions for that actually on our web store, which is InnerTalk-store.com, and then under the frequently asked questions you can find out more information about the download manager app. Or, if you're not too tech savvy, ask one of your friends' kids. They're always the best to get help from. You can't ask your own kids because they don't necessarily have the patience, but your friends' kids will be wonderful with you, and they will do it in seconds.
Okay.
It comes
Now,
in their genes.
The download manager is free. Everybody should know that there's several free applications that are download managers that they can obtain on the internet and put on their machines before they do the download.
Yep, you just
and
choose the
one that you prefer. And you've even got a recommended one on our website. So
we have some up there. They are constantly changing, but the principles always remain the same. So basically, you copy the download roll that we send to you, go into the download manager app, into the browser window there, then paste it, and then everything happens automatically.
All right, let's go to the phone. We have a phone call from Mike in Nashville, Tennessee. How are you today, Mike?
Well, fine, Dr. Taylor. How are you?
I am excellent. What can we help you with, sir?
So we're supposed to call in with an issue, correct? I would have to say procrastination. Sometimes I just don't act as expeditiously as I know that I should. Sometimes putting important things off, and then at the last minute, jump in and going like a whirlwind and so forth, whereas if I had acted sooner, I would have been able to do, even better. Make sense?
Yeah, and I get you real well, and I know exactly what I do for that precise thing. But we will let Momma Clause enter and give us a suggestion.
I'd like to
hear
what
Mike.
You do also. Hi, Ravinder. How are you?
I am well, and I'd be interested in what Eldon's answer is too.
Right.
We both, can talk to customers a lot or talk to different people, and there are times that we come up with different kinds of solutions, so that can certainly help. Now, Mike, we do have a program that is specifically for procrastination, but whenever I'm talking to people on the phone, I always like to go a little bit deeper into the issue. So do you find, you have the procrastination in all areas, or is this just when it comes to work type stuff?
Wow. Never really thought of that. In all areas or work type stuff. I would say, a lot of times when it's something, very important, critical, I tend to wind up putting it off when I shouldn't put it off.
I hear you.
Put it off until it's almost due, and then jump in, and going like a banshee, whereas if I had acted sooner on doing the many details and so forth, it would have been done more thoroughly. Does that make sense?
It does indeed, and I totally relate to that. In fact, I can share a story of my own with you where it was very, very similar. I had this important task to do. It was desperately important. It was a tax issue, and it was the top of my urgent pile, and it remained there for months. I cannot tell you why I would not tackle this particular job.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't
just
that you didn't know how to do it and the steps and so forth. Correct?
No, absolutely. I couldn't get to it. I don't really know quite what the issue was. Maybe there is some fear, because there's always a fear of doing taxes incorrectly and being audited, and that can be such a nightmare. So perhaps that was behind it. But that's not the only time this kind of stuff has happened to me. But I tell you what I ended up doing myself was, at that time, Eldon had just created a program called Strategic Planning and Peak Performance. And I cannot tell you why I decided to play it all night long. We often play programs just for quality control issues, or, we're just trying them out for the first time. And this was a program that I didn't think I needed particularly, but for some reason I played it all night long. You can play it just quietly in the background. The sound of the ocean playing there doesn't tend to disturb you, doesn't disturb your sleep. But I played it all night long.
A program every night.
I know, they're fabulous, aren't they? It's a great way to start the day. But in this particular instance, I played this all night long. The next morning, I got out of bed, in my PJ still, went downstairs to my home office, opened up my computer, did that tax thing. Within 20 minutes of opening my eyes, the job was done.
Jumped into it.
It had sat there in my urgent tray, and I knew it was urgent, and I was getting more and more stressed about it. But I always had other things that I had to do first, supposedly, or I managed to find them. But using the strategic planning and peak performance, that job was done the very next morning within the first 20 minutes. Now, I use strategic planning frequently these days. If I'm not in the mood for working, I'll just play it quietly on the desk, and within 20 minutes my mood has changed and the work is getting done. When I play the strategic planning and peak performance, I can be productive with any amount of time. You know how at the end of the day, say 4:30, 4:45, it's hardly worth beginning a project? Well, if I'm playing strategic planning and peak performance, not only will I find a project that I can do in that time, it just gets done. It's just really easy, really productive, and all those small odds and ends that are the easiest to procrastinate on, they just get finished. And I cannot begin to tell you how much better I feel. There is this feeling of calm within me that, I'm on top of this. I'm not procrastinating. It's not hanging there. I think when you have jobs that hang there, they pile up on the table, and then they become really hard to ignore, and then the more stuff there is on the table, the harder it is to focus on the job in front of you. So getting rid of those small odds and ends, those little details, really clears up space and just helps you feel calm and wonderful. So I definitely recommend strategic planning and peak performance, and we have your email here, so I will make sure that email goes out to you this afternoon.
Now, wait a minute. Don't get in such a hurry.
I'm not rushing him off. I'm about to come to you.
Here's his bonus, okay? I love strategic planning and peak performance, and I use it and I play it. But I'll tell you sometimes, Mike, I might procrastinate on playing it. We have a power set for procrastination. And one of the programs is a really forceful verbal coaching headphone program, and you cannot play that and not get up and go right to it. But as a power set, it also is accompanied with the InnerTalk procrastination complement. So what Ravinder will see you get is both the power set and strategic planning and peak performance. Then if you procrastinate about playing strategic planning, you have an antidote.
Play the power set, and it'll take care of that, huh?
It will. Promise, promise. All right.
Wow.
Thanks for calling, my friend.
That's a pretty heavy promise, and I know it'll work because I believe in the InnerTalk technology.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. You have a Merry Christmas, wonderful holiday season.
Merry Christmas to both of you folks.
Thanks. Now, we have a comment out of the chat room I want to treat before we move on. If you don't have a proper email account, your only email is a business account or something, or for some reason you would just prefer to have the hard disk we'll send you the hard disk. All you have to do is tell us, and so this isn't just a download. If you prefer the hard disk in ahead of a download that you can put on your phone, and my wife, Ravinder, walks around with her smartphone playing ocean waves almost everywhere we go.
I do.
If you prefer that CD, you just let us know, and that's what we'll send out to you. All right, when we come back from the break, remember to call us, 425-373-5527. We have Momma Clause, a.k.a. Ravinder Taylor, in house today, taking your calls and giving InnerTalk programs away. So again, that number is 425-373-5527. Now, we have a video for you in our chat room featuring the InnerTalk way to change. So if you're not in the chat room already, now's the time to get on over there, and you can do that by going to provocativeenlightenment.com/chat. Okay, do please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Provocative Enlightenment with Eldon Taylor.
Change has never been easier. Whether you wish to lose weight, stop smoking, build better relationships, become creative, enjoy ultra prosperity, or simply relax and promote self-healing, InnerTalk has been repeatedly demonstrated effective in the most rigorous of scientific studies. Our customers love InnerTalk. Sean wrote, "I have struggled with bulimia for over 30 years and have never been able to lose weight without restoring to it until I used InnerTalk." Vicky wrote, "My hubby has been using the Stop Snoring CD and already his dangerous and raucous snoring levels have stopped." Celeste wrote, "I recently graduated from Taft Law School with honors. I'm writing to tell you how much your InnerTalk CD, Excel in Exams, has helped me. With over 300 titles to choose from, there is something for everyone. Check it out today by going to InnerTalk.com.
Unlock the power of your mind. This is Provocative Enlightenment with Eldon Taylor.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we have Momma Clause, Ravinder Taylor, in house today, taking your phone calls and giving InnerTalk programs away to those who call. And if you want a physical copy, just let Mr. Ryder, our producer, know, and he'll see that that's what you get. So you get on the phone and call us now. The number to call is 425-373-5527. Now, usually we ask our guests for their favorite music that has some true significance to them. However, today we simply decided to choose a piece as bumper music that was uplifting and a favorite of mine. So you just heard a little of Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, singing What a Wonderful World. You love that one too, don't you?
I do, but so tell us, Dr. Taylor, what does this music tell us about you? How does it inform us about you?
How cute is that? It is my view. I mean, maybe I'm a Pollyanna, but it is my view, and I do believe that that view, that perspective, serves all of us much better than any alternative. So I do think I can look into the world and I can find good, and I can enjoy that. I do believe I can look into the world and find awe and be inspired by that, and I happen to love Louis Armstrong and that gravelly voice.
Gravelly voice.
Yes, I do. The Satchmo. All right. Well, let's go to the phones. We have Karen from Everett, Washington. Hello, Karen. How are you today?
Hi there. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm actually having fun. This is one of my favorite things to do. What can we help you with? What are you working on today?
Well, I'm working on reinventing myself and trying to manifest, a new career and make money to support myself and make my lifelong happiness, I guess. and stability.
Ravinder?
This has to be one of the most common things that, we get asked about, is to do with being successful and making money. We can take it really simply, just from, okay, I want financial prosperity. And we do have a program called Prosperity in Abundance that we have some incredible testimonials for. Now, I will tell everybody, pay attention to this one real carefully. Not everyone who plays this program wins the lottery. That just wouldn't make any sense whatsoever.
But several have.
But we have had those testimonials. We've had people win a lottery, someone just find a ticket, a winning ticket on the ground, someone whose next door neighbor gave them a car because they needed a tax write-off. And it wasn't particularly a friend, but just gave them a car or gave them a vacation. We have these stories, but please do not get the Prosperity and Abundance program if you think you're just going to win it big right away. It's just, we do have these lots of testimonials. And the idea behind the Prosperity and Abundance is, if you believe that you don't deserve money, if you believe that you don't deserve prosperity, then you'll find ways to keep it away from you. So even when opportunities appear, you won't see them, you won't act on them, you won't do the things to make the prosperity, to help the prosperity come to you. You'll actually push it away. So Prosperity and Abundance is a really good program, and I'll make sure we send that to you simply because it is so good.
Okay,
but I always...
Karen wants physical copies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll send it to her.
Keep going.
As a physical copy.
I just want to make sure that your note says physical.
No, I've definitely got that down here. That's not a problem
Does
whatsoever.
that make a difference?
Whether it's physical or download, no, only the speed at which you can try them out, because if we send you out a download, the downloader would go out this afternoon and you'd be trying it right away. If you want a physical copy, it'll go in the mail tomorrow, and then however long the mail takes to get to you, generally
It's
3
Everett.
days.
She'd probably have it on Tuesday. I mean, you
could get it
the
on
holiday
Saturday,
and you got Christmas, but she's in Everett, so she'd probably have it on Tuesday.
Yep.
Well,
so we can do that.
In a hurry, right?
We are. But, Karen, to take your question even deeper than that, you had said that you wanted to do something about your career. Are you trying to find a different job, or are you trying to get your career to take off?
Well, I'm trying to get a new idea to take off. And I'm
Okay,
hoping it's the right idea.
Okay. There's a few different ways to go around that. I will tell you, one of the things that I did, again, I was playing a program just for quality control purposes, and the title of that program was Manifesting Your Vision. And I played the program, again, all night long while I slept. And I can just tell you, my dreams were full of ideas, things that I could act on if I wanted to. Yeah, I found that a great deal of fun. Now, other people have tried manifesting your vision, and they've managed to manifest things literally. I think there was one person that wanted a cello. This person's a musician, a professional musician, and she wanted a cello, and the cello just came into her life when she played the program. So we have those kinds of testimonials. But for me, manifesting your vision just helped bring me the ideas so that I knew what it was I had to do in order to achieve what it was I was trying to achieve, if that makes sense to you. So that is a good one as well. But I still like to take it even further than that. I'm a very practical kind of person. I believe in putting action behind your dreams and desires. So then I would turn to you and say, what is it you think you need to do in order to achieve the success that you're looking for the prosperity? Sometimes, just to give you some examples, perhaps a person wants to be more assertive so they can ask for the pay raise at work, or they want to be more organized and efficient so they can get their work done better, so they can get a promotion. Maybe someone needs a different kind of education. They need to sharpen up skills in a particular area. So maybe it's accelerated learning that they need so that they can, get the education in order to get the better job. There's lots of different ways that you can look at that. For a person who's in sales, maybe that's the direction they want to go in. Maybe it's just to do with communicating with people. So I would ask you, Karen, what do you think you could do that would help bring prosperity to you?
Well, I was thinking about, what was the first one you said? Because I didn't jot it down, and then there's the organization and efficiency, and I heard you talk about strategic planning, too, because I was wondering if I might need something like that to get my game going.
I think everyone can do with strategic planning and peak performance. I cannot speak highly enough about that program. It's really kind of amusing, actually, because when Eldon first created that program, we have a very extensive line. And I said to him, why are you creating more programs? We have, 250 titles right now. But then he came out with this one. It was a suggestion by a customer, I believe.
No, but that's okay. Go on.
But yeah, so I play that program, and no, I cannot recommend it highly enough for lots of different areas. It does cover a great deal for me. It does help you put action behind your dreams, whatever that can be. It helps you think ahead for, what do I need to have in place in order to make the next step? Well, how do I get those things? How do I start actioning it? And yeah, I'm a strong believer in putting action behind your goals. And, also, going back to what I was saying, some of the things that people need in order to be successful were being organized at work and actually planning and actually, putting things in place to get your career to take off. Once again, strategic planning and peak performance is immensely helpful there. So I will make sure that one goes out as well. So you will have a nice holiday package coming to you, Karen.
All right. Thank you for your call, Karen. And we wish you the greatest of holidays and a Merry Christmas.
And the same to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Too. Bye-bye. No, strategic planning and peak performance came about in my office with the staff at a time that you were dedicating your time to raising our sons. And we sat around and, one of the problems wasn't just, we had staff, but the staff wasn't communicating. It wasn't planning. They were fragmented. And that's when the program was inspired. That's when we decided to do the program.
Well, I learned from that one and also from your healing from invalidation. I think that was
another one you resisted. What are you doing that for?
I totally resisted that one because it's like, well, what's the difference between healing from invalidation and high self-esteem? But then you take a look at the affirmations and that feeling of, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. That's
huge
just
difference.
That feeling. So
come on, let's get to the phones.
Okay.
We have Brian on the line from Reno, Nevada. How are you, Brian?
Doing well, Eldon, and hello, Ravinder.
Hello, Brian. Lovely to talk to you.
Likewise. It's been a long time.
You're a favorite of ours, You're in our chat room on a regular basis. I'm really glad to be able to speak with you.
It's a great time in the chat room as well. So I enjoy my time there and the insights other people come up with as people are listening to different shows and sharing it. So the chat room's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm glad you have it associated with the show.
What can we do for you today, my friend?
The one title that comes back to me when I hear the name, and I guess it's because the name seems so strange to me, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to say it correctly. Hyperimperia?
Hyperimperia, one of my very favorites, yes.
Conscious expansion.
It is a wonderful program.
I think I remember maybe Richard in the chat room mentioning using that one with success. liking it.
You'll love it. I love it. I actually created it originally for myself. And then Ravinder had her own. I'll let Ravinder tell you. I'm supposed to be moderating here, so I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I'll share my stories today. Hyperimperia is like a guided meditation program, but unlike normal, hypnosis type programs where they take you deeper and deeper within, Hyperimperia takes you up and out and out, and it does eventually take you to a place where you can talk to your guides, your higher self, whatever it is that you want to call it, but you have that opportunity to talk to them and get answers as well. Now, I've used the program lots of times, I can tell you. And, there's frequently times when it's just a really good, relaxing type of experience. But there have been times I have used that program where I have got definite answers that to me were totally uncanny. Things that I could not possibly have predicted. The very first time I tried that program, I was told that certain events would happen. I was told that something would happen at the end of November, that certain information would be shared, and as a result of that, Eldon and I would decide to have a family. That's what it comes down to. At the time, Eldon didn't want any more kids. He was done, but I wanted kids, and it was that inner turmoil type. Okay, so this occurred, about 6 months prior to that in the summer, and I was told that things would happen. And in my mind, it's like, okay, at end of November, maybe something will happen around Thanksgiving and whatever. Well, I'm not going to go into all the personal details about what happened. I can tell you that it did not happen as I expected. The information that was shared was not anything like I expected at all. I could not have imagined that in my wildest imagination. It just wouldn't have. But I can tell you that that night after it happened, Eldon, we're cuddling up and going to sleep, and he says, well, let's start a family. And wow. Wow. Okay. Well, that all happened. And it really did. I mean, everything I was told happened exactly as I was told that it would happen. Just my interpretation of what that exactly meant ahead of time was off. Because everything happened, actually, it didn't happen on Thanksgiving, it happened a week after Thanksgiving. It was just the way the calendar fell that year. But I've used the program a number of different times, and yes, I've accessed information. I've learned things about myself in the process. It is a meditation program. It's a wonderful experience, and we are more than happy to send that to you, Brian. I would love to, hear back from you and, hear what kind of experiences you have with it too.
Fantastic. Well, I'll be in the chat room, and I'll share anything that comes up.
Sounds good, my friend. Listen, you want the hard copy, physical copy, or you want the download?
I'm going to give the download a try. I'd like to have them, so I can eventually get it to the point where I have it on a tablet where I can listen to it at night too.
Just remember, with this one, you want to put your headphones on. Close your eyes, put your feet up. Do not use when conscious attention is required, like when driving or operating machinery. Just the standard boilerplating there.
Brian understands that.
Well,
I think
Merry Christmas to both of you, and thank you so much.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Brian. Thank you. You have a great one now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, let's take a letter that was sent in before we go back to the phones. Mary Ellen asks if there is anything we have that can help her son who has ADHD.
Well, that's actually a pretty easy one, Mary Ellen. I can do that one, pretty much from the top of my head. We have an ADHD program specifically for children. It was created because we had someone that wanted to do research on it. So they used the program, they used it in a classroom full of kids with ADHD, and they had absolutely fabulous results. And we have sold a large number of the ADHD program ever since then. We get these fantastic reports back from parents whose kids have ADHD. But for everyone else out there, I would also let you know that we do have an ADHD program that is specifically for adults too, because ADHD doesn't only affect kids, it affects adults too. When you can't concentrate enough, when your mind's always wandering off into different places, and so we have one for adults as well. But we will make sure you get the ADHD program for children, Mary Ellen. That will go out to you right away.
At the risk of challenging you, I think the ADHD program was actually a double-blind study.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't a classroom like, a large classroom where you just have, it was a double-blind study. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. The fact is, when you get the ADHD program, you will get a pamphlet with it, a little 4-page, I guess it is, 4-page pamphlet that tells you about the research, where it was done, and explains how to use the program, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to remember the research behind it. I think it was maybe 2 different classrooms and the teachers weren't aware of which program it was that they were playing. I definitely had the idea that it was
classroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of children.
It was many
tried
years
it
ago.
out.
I'd have to look it up. I don't have the same memory, but that's okay. And nevertheless, anybody that gets the program will get the hard facts. You can go to the website and actually read the study. Camille wrote, I love your programs, and when Dr. Taylor posted on Facebook about your Momma Clause show inviting email requests, I thought maybe I'm greedy, but why not ask? I've been putting off buying your Positive Mental Attitude program because I don't know whether I should get it or the Freedom from Burnout CD. Lately, I just don't want to do much of anything and work as a real drudgery. What do you think is best, and can Momma Santa help out?
I think that's a really interesting question. Camille certainly understands, what's involved here, because there are 2 sides to the equation. I think there are times that you want to tackle a particular problem area, problem in quotation marks there. So looking at the burnout program, well, that's addressing the issue head on. But the other side of the equation there is the positive mental attitude. I can think of positive mental attitude. I think of a joyous day or passion for life, any of those things that just bring back the zest for life. So, we often find that with lots of different types of issues that you're dealing with, there are often 2 ways that you can look at it. You can deal with the problem, and there's a time and a place for that, or you can deal with it from the more positive aspect. So quite honestly, Camille, I think you've hit the nail on the head. We will send you both of those. Try them out. What I would suggest is play one program as extensively as you can, all day and all night long if you can. Pay attention to how that program makes you feel, and then the following day try the other one, and then see which one gives you the better results, and you can decide after that if you want to play both programs during the course of the day or just focus on one or the other.
All right, we're pretty close to out of time. We can't take another phone call, unfortunately. I hope you enjoyed our show. Ravinder, you want to tell everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. This is our last show before the holiday.
It is indeed, and it's been a wonderful year, and I hope you all get all the gifts that you want. You have all the blessings of the world. So yes, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you.
And I want to wish everyone out there just peace, awe, joy, just the greatest of happiness that you could possibly experience. May you know that cornucopia of joy, and Merry Christmas. Thank you, Ravinder, for once again serving as Momma Santa and doing your best to help others. Well, we've come to the end of another episode of Provocative Enlightenment. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our show, and will join us again next week, same time and same place. And do tell your friends. Let's have them join us as well. I always say, until next time, wherever you are in the world, remember, believing in yourself always matters. But as we approach Christmas, I want to emphasize that. Believe in yourself. Believe in your life. You are a gift. You are a miracle. Merry Christmas and have a great holiday.
Provocative Enlightenment has been brought to you by Progressive Awareness Research and other sponsors. Provocative Enlightenment is a syndicated show and appears on other networks. For a schedule of show times, visit provocativeenlightenment.com. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, write to Eldon at eldontaylor.com.